bigger than the reigning premiers this week?
No, it doesn't, especially coming off a loss, Nick. I think they're going to be smarting a little bit from that. But I think the Port's assault early in the game probably clouded the rest of the game a bit. I thought Hawthorn were really good for most of the game. So our full expectation is that they bring that for 4 quarters this Saturday night. So we're going to have to be at our best to beat them.
Is there anything you can learn from that initial barrage from Port?
Yeah, I mean, win the ball, kick straight, all those things. Like that, Port were just on fire. I think that probably the main lesson is to try and bring your best footy and not just counter what the opposition do really well.
We saw Port and Freo. Is there a bit of a risk? I know you can't really put restraints on the players, but coming out so hard so early, and it almost looked like it almost cost them in the end. Is there a way you possibly maintain that over a 4-quarter game, or you just let them do what they do?
Oh, I think Ken Hinkley probably hit the nail on the head that it's, when you play that way early, it's almost impossible to sustain that for 4 quarters. So that's the challenge in modern footy. I mean, to beat sides like Hawthorn, you've got to play well across the game, and Port were really awesome early, but almost got overrun. So I think we're a really fit side. I think we've only lost one final quarter this year. We've got great faith in our running ability and our ability to play 4 quarters. So we're going to need all those quarters against Hawthorn.
As coach, obviously, for your any team, but your record against the top teams has been particularly good in the last 12 months. Does that give the playing group and yourself a bit of confidence heading into this week?
I think it does, but it just reinforces that we've got to do what we do well. And that Hawthorn are a great side. They've proven that over a long period of time. So our guys are a pretty proud bunch, and they like playing against the best teams.
2-2. What does a win against Hawthorn, who are really fired up, as Sam Mitchell said yesterday, what does that do for your season?
I don't mean to be facetious, but it means that we're 3-2. Like it doesn't mean any more than that. To be honest, I mean there's going to be a lot of water to pass under the bridge between now and the end of the season. So we want to win the game, and we're going to come out all guns blazing to get the job done. But as for setting up the rest of the season, I don't think it does that for either team.
Your injuries, Daniel Wells, McMillan, what are they?
Look, I'm doubtful on Daniel Wells, purely because he doesn't feel perfect right now, and some players play the style of footy that enables them to play with some injuries that perhaps they could get through a game with, but still perform somewhere around their normal role. And those players are like tractors. They get out and they just get the job done. But Daniel Wells isn't a tractor. He's a Rolls Royce. So we need him at his absolute best to be able to play his best. And I refuse to send Wellsy out, who's a really important part of our team, when he's below his best, because we all expect his best. And if he can't produce it, then it's unfair on him and it doesn't help the team.
So is he not progressing as well as expected?
Look, he's got some. Look, tendons are always challenging to manage, or they're always a challenge. I think that in terms of his injury, it's how long's a piece of string, and that's the case with a lot of players with tendon injuries. Andrew Swallow is the same. So in Andrew Swallow's recovery from his injury, he had periods where we thought he'd come up really quickly, and other periods where he didn't. So Wellsy it'll be what it'll be. When he's right to train fully, then he'll play.
Lockie Hansen comes straight back in, Brett?
He's a chance. He'll train today, and he pulled up really well from his game, played well last week. Again, a really important part of our side, but we've just got to do some further analysis on how much work he's actually done and whether we think he can perform at his best for 4 quarters.
How about McMillan and McDonald? How they look?
Yeah, again, they'll train fully today, and we'll make a call. I mean, they've got to be at their best and absolutely perfect. We're not going to carry guys into the game under injury cloud, so we'll make that decision after training today.
They've got some well-documented issues with their talls down back. Do you look to do anything to try and take advantage of that, or do you just back yourself in to do what you've been doing?
Not really. I mean, they're still capable. I mean, Stratton, Gibson, they've got depth on their list. Shoalmakers, these sorts of players. I think if we go in with a game plan of just trying to exploit their tall backs, I think that'll backfire on us. So, the challenge will be, containing their good players around the midfield, I think, more than exploiting their key backs.
When you've got that advantage down full with the height, Brett, is there that danger that you can go too long at times, players to be sucked into kicking long to keep 3 and 1?
Oh, yeah, there's that danger, but I mean, we're certainly we play a game style that trusts the players to make the right decision with the ball in hand, and no, I'm not overly concerned about that because we won't focus on trying to exploit their key backs.
You must be really happy with how Robbie Tarrant's going in the early part of the season, playing down back.
Yeah, he's trained really hard in the pre-season to first get himself back and get an opportunity returning from injury, but also learning the craft of defence. He was fantastic for us last week, but he's the first to admit he's got a lot of work to do. And it's he's a natural forward, and he's learning the art of defence. So it's going to be a work in progress, but the early signs are good.
Todd came out during the week and was pretty supportive of the sub being abolished to help out the progress of ruckman coming through. Do you support those sentiments?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think that that not many sides play two genuine ruckmen these days, and that's because you haven't got the fourth position for them on the bench, and they're not suitable candidates as subs. So, I think it's a no-brainer. As I've said in the past, we're already planning for the abolishment of the sub rule. So I think that'll happen. And but our focus, is I get asked all these questions about different things in the game, and I'm only answering the question. I'd prefer to focus on Hawthorn this week. The fact that our club is celebrating the anniversary of our 1975 premiership, which ironically was against Hawthorn. We're going to have a lot of members of the 75 team in the rooms. The players will get a huge boost out of that, and we need to make sure that our supporters get out and make sure it's a hostile environment for Hawthorn and celebrate our 1975 premiership and hopefully what we're doing to build towards our next one.
How will you incorporate that into the pre-game at all, if you do?
I think the important thing is that the players see the 75 champions and premiership players in the rooms, and they'll be a part of our build-up, and it'll give our current group of players a huge boost.